Welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels. And I want to say big thank you to the audience for listening, watching, sharing, and subscribing. So this is the channel where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads-on and emerged victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through tough times. And whether you are dealing with health challenges, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this is the channel dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So join us as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. So be prepared, everybody, to be inspired and find the strength to navigate life challenges. I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, Mars Venus life and relationship coach, astrologer, tarot reader, and life force compassion practitioner. And today I have the great pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Leticia Moshwe. She is a serial entrepreneur and humanitarian. Dr. Leticia Moshwe is dedicated to empowering underprivileged communities and advocating for global peace and equity. She is the founder of LIT Base. She is a co-director of Angola Hunger Relief and International Human Resource Director of the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. And her early life in Africa, marked by poverty and conflict, inspired her to uplift marginalized communities. So welcome to Amazing You, Dr. Leticia.
Thank you, Rani. I really, really appreciate you having invited me to this wonderful platform to be able to share my story with the world and to just, speak to you and share my story with you as well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Leticia, because we met a few months ago. We connected and then we reconnected a few weeks ago, and we decided that it's time for you to be on the podcast. So I'm really, really excited to have you and to share to have you to share your inspiring journey, because looking at your bio, you said that you come from a place where there was poverty and conflict, and now to be where you are. Would you please share with us that journey of how you've become a serial entrepreneur from starting at a place where you were poor, where you faced conflict? Thank you.
Thank you, Rani. Right, so I'm originally from the Congo, DRC, and for those that don't know, the country is plagued by war that's been ongoing for a very long time, over 30 years.
Right.
And there are millions of people displaced, and till now we still have bombs that just, especially in the east, you just see random bombs that just drop on people's houses, people's lands, and it can be very devastating. And the country in itself is a very poor country. As much as we have a lot of minerals, gold, coltan, you name it, diamonds, but the people are not eating the diamonds. The people don't eat the gold. The people are scraping for food, and it's very sad. So from there, the family sought for a better life, and that's how we came to the UK. And for me, having experienced such level of poverty and destroy, it really does help you to become stronger in the way that you deal with life's issues, and it really makes you realize that everything is temporary, whether it be sad times, good times, everything is temporary. And just thinking that is what helps you keep going. But anyway, so as we came to the UK, again, it had its own struggles as well, adapting to new language, new culture, new food, new everything. It was a complete change of life. New school, you're mixing with people, you don't know what they're talking about because you've never heard that language before. And it was difficult. But again, we still faced quite a lot of poverty growing up because parents didn't didn't work. They didn't really know where they can get a job. So you had to live quite difficultly. Never mind, is that a word? Um, so I then always had it in me that I have to make a difference.
Okay.
Because when I think about where I came from, I think, if somebody was able to support us or support me and help, then perhaps my childhood would have been a bit different. And so as I grew older, my mind was always on helping other people. And Lord knows I tried. I tried through community groups, through churches and various activities. But it came a time when I felt, okay, I need to do this officially. And so I then registered Lit Space, LIT Base. And through Lit Base, we've been able to support many people, people in the UK, people in the Congo as well, and people in Nigeria and in Angola as well through Angola Hunger Relief. So it's really been my passion to help people who are going through dire situations and help them see that there is light and they can transform from one place to another. And so we provide hope, and not just hope, but of course the basic essentials as well that help people. And we provide school materials for the children in schools as well. We provide meals for the elderly, widows and orphans. So we're doing quite a lot to just support people as much as we can. And the idea is to reach out even further and help billions of people around the world. And it's a big dream. It definitely is a big dream, but I do believe that we can get there through collaborations, partnerships, and the right funding. We can certainly reach a wider audience.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leticia, for sharing your journey and how now you are helping communities in Africa. And would you please share with us any particular success stories that stand out to you?
Any particular success stories? Wow. I have a very recent one, actually, where it felt like life was turning in on itself for me, and everything that I knew, everything that I had to be relearned. So it was get rid of the old, all of it, completely gone, and just start afresh. I'd lost the jobs. I was working two jobs. I'd lost both jobs, and then I was subjected to having to go on government support, which was barely anything. And I found myself some days I couldn't even afford bread, and it felt very lonely. It felt like you had no one to support you, but I had to keep pushing on. And one thing I know that my childhood taught me is resilience and perseverance.
Right.
And never giving up, because I already knew the downside before. And when it came again, I was able to recognize it and know that it's okay, this too shall pass. And that's what kept me going. And I think because I'm also a very prayerful person, that belief in a higher power, that belief in God is what kept me going as well. And I would pray, I would meditate, and God said, just be still. And so that gave me that peace that no matter what is going on, you can make it. And I think that's what really, really helped me a lot throughout those times, because it seemed like nothing was working. You looked for a job and it just kept going wrong. Wherever you turn, it felt like the world was against me. That is my experience. It really felt like the whole world was against me. But what I always had in me was the hope for a brighter future, the knowing that I can still get through and I can still be successful even through that. I mean, some people would break, and when the pandemic happened, we heard people who lost their main source of income were committing suicide. There was a shop near me that I went there, and the gentleman was telling me about his uncle who had a whole business and lost it and committed suicide. And then I thought about that. I was like, wow, if it wasn't for the faith that my beliefs kept me believing in, because you need to have faith in to be able to keep going. We live by faith. When you make plans for the next day, the next month, the next year, it's because you have faith that you will be there, that you will make it. And if it wasn't for that faith in God, that faith in knowing that things do always get better, I don't know where I would have been. I think that answers it.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, because, we always look at our childhood to look at the challenges, but for you it was something even more recent, that you had to overcome. And what kind of practices, self-help practice, were you using during those times to lift yourself?
The self-help practices, it was a combination. Prayer and meditation was the biggest ones. I couldn't wake up without a prayer. In the middle of the day, I'll do a prayer. At night, before I sleep, I'll do a prayer. And I ensured that I was meditating regularly as well, because that really helps you get into that zone of peace, that zone of calm and nirvana. Just, it's like practicing how to be peaceful in the chaos. So even if there is a lot of war going on behind you, you enclose yourself and you are in your bubble of peace no matter what's going on around you. And that really helped me. That was, I think, the most of it, really. The other practices that I did were just self-awareness, ensuring that I'm staying aware of my thoughts and my actions, because sometimes your thoughts, if you let it run loose, it will make you think that the world is over, Yes. And I had to ensure that I just accept the moment, accept where I am. Where I realized that when I start to think too much about the future, think too much about the past, I started feeling anxiety, I started feeling sad, I started feeling depressed. So for me, it was just, this is where I am now. I accepted the situation without denial. And that for me was a first step to dealing with adversities and all the issues that I was going through. It was, this is where I am, where do I want to go? I wasn't thinking about where I went wrong. Okay, you need to reflect sometimes so you don't repeat them, but I wasn't beating myself up over it. It was more of, okay, this is where I've now found myself. How can I then move forward? What changes can I now make to ensure that I move beyond this without any issues, and also not to repeat the past actions? And then I looked at where I want to be, and I broke it down into steps, small steps. So the problem became smaller, into smaller, manageable tasks. This is where I want to be. How do I get there? And I just mapped it out for myself and just took it day by day, without trying to rush myself out of it. There was a lot of healing that needed to be made, and you got to give it time. And if you rush things like that, you'll realize that you'll be faking it. You won't have real healing. You'll just be smiling on the surface, but inside you're still broken. But I had to really dive into those broken pieces and put it together, one step at a time, to ensure that I get my proper healing. And I didn't want anyone to rush me into it either, because, we know that people care and they might say, oh, you don't feel like that, or maybe this is how you should think, or maybe this is what you should do. And whilst they may have good advice from their own perspective, but that might not work for you per se. And so I just took it gradually day by day based on what I felt worked for me. And I have to say, it certainly helped me. And also having a support system, the right support system, really makes a big difference, a big, big difference. Because there are some people, again, they might not realize that what the support they think they're giving you is not the right support. But when you can recognize that that's not what you need, then you can change the kind of people you spend more time with. They say you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you, in that you can decide to be around different people. And that really helped me a lot. And I delved myself into just learning, learning about myself, learning about the different areas of work that I can go to. Because at that moment, I had nothing. So it was like, okay, you're on a blank slate. I can now do whatever. I can be anything. I can transform myself into whatever I want. So it actually helped me to have lost it, because that now meant, okay, I can now figure out what I actually want to do, as opposed to just being in a job because it's paying you. So in a sense, it came as a blessing. It came as a big, big blessing for me, because now I'm actually doing the things that I find fulfilling, the things that I would say I love.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much, Leticia, for sharing all these wisdom that you've learned. And on that journey of self-discovery about yourself, tell us, what did you discover about you?
The first thing is I discovered that I'm stronger than I thought. I always thought that I was strong, but I didn't realize how strong I am until time came to it. And I was like, wow, I did this. Yeah. But one thing I also discovered is just how versatile I am, and just how multi-talented I am, because I was trying different things, different fields, different skills, and all of them were working out. And I was like, wow, okay, even things that I hadn't tried before, I would try it, and it's like I'm being applauded for it, and it's like, what? I'd had that skill. I didn't know that. But one thing for sure is I learned that God is everything we need, no matter whether you are wealthy or poor or whatever. Without God, all of it is in vain. It's completely in vain. It really helped me to see just how much faith I had. I could have, some people would say, why do bad things happen in the world if there is a God? But for me, it's without God, you couldn't keep going. That's how I see it. And that's what I learned as well, that my faith is stronger than I thought.
Yeah, and you are more powerful than you ever realize. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. I know the power is
absolutely.
within you. The power is inside of us. We tend to think the power that we have, it's all outside, it's in the world, but no, as we go within, like you did, that's where you find your strength, you find your power, you find your gifts.
Mm,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it's such an amazing feeling once you realize that it is all inside you, and you stop making excuses
Yeah.
for external things happening to you. So you realize that things don't happen to you, but they happen for you.
Yeah.
And that really shifted a lot of perspectives for me. I stopped beating myself up, thinking, why me? And why is this happening to me? Why this and why that? It was more, let me see what this is trying to teach me. When I started to think like that, the whole narrative changed. Then the problem was no longer a problem, but it was more of a push, a boost. It was more of an awakening to say, wow, okay, I've been living wrong. I've been thinking wrong. now it's time for me to think right. And
Yes.
whatever, you can say whatever right means, but it means that you're actually doing things for yourself, and that you're learning from these situations, as opposed to letting it beat you down. You're saying, right, here's a challenge. You actually accept it and you acknowledge it and you embrace it. Here comes a challenge. Wow, this is an opportunity for me to learn something new. And once you start to think like that, you're unstoppable. Unstoppable.
That is so true. That is so true. And what would you say, Leticia, for individuals who are facing some tough times? What advice or suggestions you can offer to them to help them to navigate and overcome adversity?
Right. I would say in the midst of adversity, you have to be in the present, because a lot of the things that we see as problems are either due to us being anxious about the future, that's anxiety, or being depressed about whatever may have happened in the past, that's regret. So forget regret, just accept where you are, and there is power in the now. Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now, and it's true what he said, because all we have is now. When can you make a change? It's now. You can say, oh, let me make a change tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. It's always going to be a now. And so make that change now, recognize where you are in the now, and consider where you want to be, and see yourself in being in that state, in that place, in that position now. Once you can do that, you start to bring in all the goodness, all the positivity, all the love, all the everything that you could possibly want. And you can feel it in the now, and it will surely come to you. So no matter what you're going through, you can get through it, but you just have to rest, be still, and live in the now.
Thank you, Leticia. I love that you said that about being present, because it's about mindfulness when we live in the now. Because everything, we can find more peace, more love when we can enjoy every moment, because we won't get it back again. We can't edit it. We can't change it. We have got only the now. So make the best of the now that we have, instead of worrying, or like you said, of the past, of the future, but just be present and just appreciate what you have now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Even as I speak about it, I feel this feeling of joy and peace and serenity just encompassing me as I'm feeling it as we're talking. When I'm talking about being present in the now, I'm feeling that energy of just the power of now. I'm feeling it.
That is
I don't
great.
know why.
That is really, really wonderful. It means how much healing you've done and how much you work on yourself, and that is powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my other question to you is, I'm sure you've encountered many impactful books on your journey. And can you highlight a few books that have influenced you profoundly, and why?
Oh, wow. Well, I just mentioned Eckhart Tolle, The Power of
Yes.
Now. It's amazing how you just asked me that question as well, because it's almost like we're thinking on the same wavelength.
Yes.
So that was one book that I
Mm-hmm.
say is very profound, and once you get to read it and really understand it for what he's talking about, you really get to that place where you know that you are unstoppable, you are unbeatable. And also another book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. The book is very it influenced me because it highlighted the power of finding purpose in the most harrowing circumstances. And Frankel's experiences in concentration camps really taught me about the importance of resilience. And I talk about this as well. Why it relates as well is because I'm supporting people who are living in camps. I mean, it's not a concentration camp, but they are camps that they've had to run to because of all the wars that they're facing in the Congo.
Okay.
And the people that I'm supporting, when they tell you their stories, you think, wow, it's just so harrowing. But but you also see in them a strength that is hard to explain because they've lost everything. And some of them, they had businesses, they had homes. Some of them have lost all their family members. And some of them have lost maybe their children or their partner or whatever. They have nothing. It's just a little sack with whatever they could fit in the sack from when they had to run from the war. And when you speak to them, you still see the joy that they have when they're liaising with one another, and you can see they're still laughing and having fun, and you just think, wow, people who have not even been through something like that are living in depression because maybe they couldn't afford this or that or whatever. But there's people here who have absolutely nothing, and still they don't know when the next bomb is going to come, but yet they're still so strong and so resilient. It really makes you see how it correlates with the story of Frankel's story. And also, me coming from that place, I can really see how much resilience you need to have to be able to go through such a thing and come out of it strong. And then there's also To Kill a Mockingbird. Don't know if a lot of people know this one by Harper Lee. It's a novel that really impacted me quite deeply as well, and it's got it's got themes of empathy, themes of justice and moral integrity, and it really just reminds me of the importance of standing up for what is right. And that those are the books that I would really, really recommend.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leticia. These are really very interesting book indeed for the audience to look at. I will look at it as well because I haven't read all of them. I have listened to the talk on the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle last year, and it's really make you think, give you a lot of food for thoughts. Yeah.
Mm.
And my last question to you, Leticia. Can you please share to the audience what is it that you do in more detail and how can the audience reach out to you?
Absolutely. So besides my humanitarian works, which we've spoken about, I also work in healthcare at an organization called the School of Bionatural Medicine. And at the School of Bionatural Medicine, we have a technology that is completely transforming the way that healthcare works. It's a technology that's able to give you a full body scan remotely, so you can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to go into the clinic. The clinic actually comes to you. You don't have to go to the hospital comes to you. So it's just you booking the scan through our website, and the doctor will call you at the time that you scheduled and be able to run that scan over the phone. It can be a video phone, or it can just be a regular phone, just your voice, like a maybe 4410 or a house phone. And as long as the system's able to capture your voice, it can run that scan. It's using quantum technology, so it checks the inner voice, your inner voice, and from that you can run that full scan, looking at 130 different organs in the body, looking at your bones, your chromosomes. It looks at your blood. It checks your intolerances to any foods, and it checks if you're lacking any nutrients. It's just so comprehensive. And it's the kind of thing that you won't even get at a hospital, because at a hospital, you have to go through so many different tests to be able to get that full picture. You have to go for a brain scan, you have to go for an MRI for your stomach, or an X-ray or an ultrasound, or you have to then get a blood test separately, and you have to get a urine test separately just to see the broad picture of your health. But with this one, in one sitting and in just a few seconds of you speaking, the system really captures the variations of vibrations around your voice and is able to run a full body scan with that information. So it is a marvelous thing that we have going on here. And we are expanding further because it's something that can be done anywhere. You can be in the Bahamas with a with a drink in your hand and decide that you want to have a scan, and the doctor will call you. Maybe the doctor lives in England, or maybe they live in America or Korea. They could be anywhere, but they can still provide you with a comprehensive scan that really details out everything that's going on in your body and still provide you a prescription. So it's a really wonderful thing that we're having here, that we're doing. And I really see the future of healthcare being completely transformed with this, and it's disrupting the market. And that's what we need. We need market disruptors. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm working on. And I through the charitable organizations, we've just registered World Health Organization for Peace and Equity here in the UK as well. It's been international for a long time, working across Africa and America, but now we've also brought it to the UK. So we're looking forward to doing a lot of projects supporting people here in the UK as well through that organisation. And yeah, with Lit Base, which is my organisation, I'm just wanting to expand my reach further. So I've been doing a lot of local works, but now I want to reach out more to go to a broader level, more UK wide. And yeah, so I'm there's a lot of positive projects lined up, and I'm really excited for them.
Thank you, Leticia. And how can people reach out to you, Leticia?
Okay. So you can reach out to me via my LinkedIn, Leticia Moshwe. You'll find me on Facebook as well. And I have my website, leticiamoshwe.com. And also my Instagram, if you like to follow Instagram, you can follow me on there as well. I can't remember if I have a TikTok. I probably do, but I just don't use it. Yeah, so that's how you can reach me. So email address, the best email address to reach me on would be info@litspace.co.uk. Find that I check that one more, then I check the others.
Okay, Leticia, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you for sharing your time and your experiences and talking to the audience. A big thank you today for being here. I would like to say also, keep on going. I wish you a lot of success in everything that you do. And to the audience, remember that you are all amazing. And remember how amazing you are, you have been, and that you always will be amazing.
That's right. And thank you, Rani, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Leticia. And thanks, everybody, for watching, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you all very soon for another episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.